Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Spiritual Dowsey. I'm Dowsey LeMay. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me wherever you are in the world. I really appreciate it. Today I want to talk about control. I want to talk about the identity around control, the illusion that control is, and then how do we give up control to the true power and control, which is about surrendering, all right? This has been a big one for me in particular, and I just want to kind of give you my 2 cents on it and how I can kind of move from one aspect to more of a surrender and acceptance and allowance that actually provided more love and support and not having to feel like I was out of control, okay? So, before I do, these are my truths and my experiences that have led me down my spiritual path. That doesn't mean they have to be yours, so use your own discernment. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. But keep an open mind. Just because you don't resonate with it now, it doesn't mean it's not a truth, and it might be able to be beneficial for you down the road when you have a different perspective. So, control, right? Control has always been something I've had to battle with for, forever, since I was born, basically. And the idea around control is that I had a childhood that dealt with a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of feeling not safe, right? And so because of those things, what happens is that energetically I bottled those up, right? And I held on to them. And I don't want to feel them, right? No one wants to really truly feel pain, sad, hurt, feeling like you aren't loved, feeling like you're not safe, right? So what did I do? I created a situation where once I started to feel something like this, I needed to create a situation where I can control my environment so that I didn't have to feel that, right? Think about this. Energetically speaking, I'm holding on to the identity that I don't feel safe, I don't feel love, I don't feel good about myself, and I have this pain. And I'm trying, and what I try to do is I try to avoid it. And I tried to avoid it via holding on to the energetic pattern of control. I can control my environment. So I have this energetic thing about wanting to control. The universe looks at me and says, because of its supportive and beneficial energy, it looks at me and says, you believe that you're holding on to something, but you believe that you need control. And so the universe gives me a bunch of experiences to try to catalyze me to look inward to that pain and at that suffering and at those things that I'm holding on to. A bunch of experiences that I need to feel like I'm out of control to try to get more control. I'm going to repeat that. So let's take a deep breath. I'm holding on to this identity that I have hurt, pain, and things that I want to avoid. I'm avoiding something. And I created this illusion of that. For me to avoid feeling this, I need to have control over my external environment. So the universe in its loving energy and supportive energy is going to give me a bunch of experiences based on my belief that feels like I'm out of control so that I can try to have more control over it so I don't feel these things. That is an illusion. It's an illusion based on you trying to avoid the pain and suffering that you've been holding on to. All just to avoid it, you created this box of saying, I need control over my external environment, over the things I do, over the things that are going to happen, over the things that I wear, over the things the way people act, etc., just so I can avoid feeling pain and suffering and pain and unloved things that I'm holding on to. Energetically speaking, that's a belief, and the universe gives you more of that. And so the question I had to deal with is how do I let go of that control? Well, to me, it requires you to go inward. It requires you to stop avoiding things that you've been trying to avoid in the first place by trying to control your environment. When you start to go towards more surrender, all right? Surrender is basically saying, I am going to stop trying to control everything in my environment. I'm going to stop trying to run away from the things that I have held on to, and I'm going to allow them to come up. So when you are feeling something, whether it be anxiety, whether it be fear, whether it be hurt, whether you start to feel the sadness, whatever it is, instead of saying, I'm going to try to control my everyday space, how clean it needs to be, or whatever it has to be, or I'm going to try to focus on the future and try to make sure that it goes this particular way, etc., so I can avoid these things, you start to say, I'm no longer going to run away from X. whether it be sadness, hurt, pain, whatever. I'm going to allow it. In the moment, I'm going to allow whatever emotional, energetic, mental thing that comes up. And in that allowance, think about the difference, what you've just done by allowing something to happen versus what I would have been doing in the past. I start to feel something, I start to sense that I'm going to maybe be not loved for something and I have anxiety, and then what I try to do is avoid it by trying to control my environment. That is fear, that is rejection, that is energy that is based on that. And trying to control, and as I already talked about how the universe brings that. When you have an emotion that comes up and you start to allow it, the universe says, oh my gosh, the universe looks at you and says, in my supportive and beneficial energy, what I'm going to do for you is that because you are allowing something and you're giving yourself more love, it starts to reflect more experiences that show you more love and acceptance for yourself. The true power comes from not controlling something. The true power comes from surrendering to the moment of whatever you're feeling in that moment and giving yourself love for something that has been wanting to be expressed. I start to feel unloved. I start to feel this anxiety, this thing that's bubbling up for me. Instead of running from it, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to honor it and say, what is this about? What are you trying to show me? And then I give it the love and attention that it needs. And I want to feel love. So I take it, I honor it, and then I feel what it was expressing, and I want to feel loved in that moment. You're giving it more love. The universe says, in that loving abundance of what I am, of a supportive, beneficial energy, I'm going to help you via the law of attraction, and based on your belief now that you're giving yourself love, more experiences are designed to show you more love and support and feeling better about yourself. That is the difference between illusion of control and the true control around surrendering. So in that time, in that space rather, when you start to do that more often, you start to realize that the universe is always going to love you. The universe is always going to support you based on what you believe in and how you interact with it, on your thoughts, belief, and how you act in your actions. So if your thoughts and your beliefs are in the moment, anything that pops up that you know you're okay because the universe is going to support you, and anything that pops up energetically that doesn't feel good, you're going to give love and support and unconditional attention to it, you're just going to keep reflecting more of that to you. And therefore your life starts to bend more towards that. Starts to give you more ideas around feeling love and support. And when you start to feel more love and support for yourself, does that mean that usually naturally means you don't need to try to control your environment, right? You're not trying to go out there and control who does what, how they act. You're not trying to control how things are going to be out in the future. You're not going to be trying to look at your past and be fearful of what's going to happen there, because now you're going to try to control your environment so you can avoid feeling these kind of things again. You don't. You sit in more love and knowing support that the universe is always going to provide to you via your surrendering to your energetic love that comes up to you, and you get a more peaceful and centered life. That doesn't mean you're not going to be triggered by things and things pop up. It just means that you're going to be a little bit more balanced versus this previous version of me, which is basically trying to run from everything, avoiding a feeling, and trying to do it through the illusion of control. So I hope that helps you. I really hope that if you're dealing with control, that is really not, that external version of control is not a true control mechanism. The internal is your control. The internal of letting the things come up and being expressed and giving love to yourself first, which allows more love and external reception to you to make you feel better. That's the true control. So I hope that helps you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Spiritual Dowsey, or on Facebook at Spiritual Dowsey, or subscribe here and hit the bell here on my YouTube page. And I love you, and we'll hope you have a great day.